So, Tyler, there are a lot of stock purchases I've made over the past, say, 3 years that I am not proud of and I'm not going to get into right now. But one that has worked out pretty well is Redfin. I bought shares of Redfin in late 2022 at about 350 a share. And I remember putting up a tweet that says, I just bought Redfin at 350 a share. This is either going to be a triumphant tale in 10 years or a cautionary tale. And it's so far it's looking good. Redfin has more than tripled in 2023 alone. It's still down 86% from its all-time high. That just tells you how high these stocks got and how pessimistic the market has been on real estate. So the stock has turned around. There are some good reasons. One, it looks like the residential real estate market isn't crashing as much as people thought it would. It's slow, but prices seem to be holding up. High mortgage rates tend to be keeping a lot of sellers on the sidelines as well as keeping buyers out of the market. The Fed's expected to lower rates sooner rather than later, which should help, kickstart the housing market again. There's still a lot of people who need homes. A recent analysis by their competitor Zillow said that the U.S. needs 4.3 million more homes to meet demand, most of them being in the starter homes category. And there's a lot of signs that the summer real estate season could be a little better than expected. Google searches for homes for sale is up 13% in the past month or so, just to name one example. So, Tyler, I bought a bunch of Redfin, I mentioned, at about less than one third of the price it is now. Should I get out, or does this rally really make sense?
I mean, that's a pretty loaded question, Matt. So yes, there are some signs of life in the real estate market. One thing I would like to point out, though, is a lot of that life is actually in the new build side of the real estate market rather than existing homes. Existing home inventories are still quite low, and that's obviously a big problem for anybody that's a real estate agent, because agents tend to work with existing homes a lot more than they do with new builds. New builds are typically sold through the home builder themselves. So, the amount of houses that these guys are selling is obviously still way down, which, it's the real estate market. You kind of have to expect to do that. But one thing that just a nagging thing for me with Redfin is that even though it's starting to, the market itself is starting to show some signs of life, there hasn't been much of a material change in, kind of the financials. I look at things like the balance sheet and the cash flow statement, and we're still at a point where we're burning cash. Its cash in, pile that it had is dwindling down slowly. And based on the amount of cash that it used in the most recent quarter, or sorry, over the past 12 months, they'd be out of cash, and that would involve going to the market either through raising equity or raising debt, and that's not ideal. So from a financial standpoint, they're still a weakening business, and I haven't seen it in their financials that upturn yet. Now, it's entirely possible that it could happen, and I'm not going to write it off as an impossibility, but quite a bit has to happen in order for that to turn around. And I don't want to be, betting the farm that it's actually going to happen.
Yeah, so I would push back on just two things you said. You're very much correct. They're burning through cash. They have a lot of debt. One thing I would push back on is that while their cash stockpile has gone down quite a bit, so has their debt. They were able to get rid of a lot of debt in the past year or so. And a lot of the reason for that is they wound down their iBuying business very quickly, which is a lot of the cash burden over the past year, by the way, was the iBuying business. Buying homes in mid 2022 at the peak, and then having to get rid of them when they, a few months later when they decided to get rid of all of their iBuying business. So that was a lot of the cash burn previously. It's still not profitable. You're absolutely right. The question is, can focusing on their core business quickly produce a profitable company in the same way that Zillow did? Zillow's got rid of iBuying, and their premier agent business is very profitable. Redfin's core business has never been profitable, though. So the big that's why it's such a question mark right now. But Redfin's good at being a tech focused discount broker. Um, Maybe leaning into that is the right move long term.
Once again, thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to click subscribe if you don't subscribe to my channel already. And as always, this video is sponsored by The Motley Fool. Be sure to visit www.fool.com/Frankel to receive the top 10 best stocks to buy now.